Best of bias. You need the earful, you should try us. From pop culture to the movies to unite us. It's the best of bias. The best of bias. It's the best of bias.
You are now listening to the Best of Bias Podcast with Lydell Dinero and Hugo Twilight.
What's up, everybody? It's your boy Lydell Dinero in the building. It's time for another Best of Bias podcast. You feel me? In the building, we have a couple of guests. Hello.
Hello.
It's V-Ronz in the building, AKA in the
V-Ronz
building.
Back.
Yeah. Finally back. We're talking pop culture again. We're making this a weekly thing. If you haven't realized, we're starting to drop on Fridays. Fridays is our drop day. And if we have bonus content to give to y'all, we're going to drop that off for y'all on Sunday. So yeah, it's a new day, new topics to get into, new bias to get into. So first and foremost, how y'all feeling?
Feeling good. Good
Feeling
to be
good?
here.
Yeah.
I get a day off, so I'm feeling good. Yeah.
Oh yeah. You not working tonight?
Fuck no.
Okay, for sure. But yeah, let's get into some topics. First and foremost, I'm sorry. I'm going to rattle off some of these week 7 NFL scores because there was some NFL last week. And if you guys didn't get to watch every game, I'm just going to rattle off some of these scores. Starting with the Browns and Broncos. Browns won 17-14. Falcons, Dolphins. Falcons won 30-28. Giants, Panthers. Giants won 25-3. Bengals destroyed the Ravens, which was a surprising outcome, 41-17. Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, balling. Would you mind closing that door for me 1 second?
Yeah,
I'm
gotcha.
sorry. And then Titans versus Chiefs. Titans won 27-3. Patrick Mahomes is struggling once again, throwing a lot of interceptions, a lot of stuff going on with him and the Chiefs. Their defense is terrible. So I don't know if they're going to make it to the Super Bowl again this year, making it 4 times in a row. So we have to see. Patriots destroyed the Jets 54-13. Packers beat the Washington football team 24-10. Rams beat the Lions, the revenge game for Matthew Stafford 28-19. The Raiders came through. They're doing really good after the firing of John Gruden, which is really surprising. They flipped the switch. Maybe he was a cloud hanging over the team. They won 33-22 over the Eagles, which aren't really doing that well anyway. Jalen Hurts isn't performing as well as everybody thought. Buccaneers destroyed the Bears 38-3. Tom Brady.
These niggas love Sosa.
You know what I mean? He played that after the game on one of his videos. Yeah,
he's a king troll.
Yeah, he's a monster. This fool went for 211, threw for 4 touchdowns, 114 QBR. Mike Evans had 3 touchdowns. Leonard Fournette's balling as our number one running back. I can go on for days, but this is not what this podcast is about. It's not a sports podcast, so I'm gonna continue with these scores. The Cardinals beat the Texans 31-5. There's a lot of blowouts this week. On top of there being a lot of buys. I know people in fantasy hated that. But yeah, there's a lot of uninteresting one-sided football. And the Colts won, beating the 49ers 30-18. A lot of local people over here not liking that too much. The Niners kind of down and out right now. We don't know what's going on with their quarterback situation. But lastly, Saints beat the Seahawks 13-10 in a rainy Seattle game there. Thank you for letting me rattle that off, guys. I know that was kind of boring for you guys because you guys were running into the game, you know what I'm saying? But starting with the topics, let's get into our first topic of the day, which is the Alec Baldwin situation. I know you guys out there heard a lot about that. Alec Baldwin was on one of his movie sets. I'm not sure what the movie was that they were filming. I'm sure
It's actually a Western, I heard.
Yeah, out in Mexico.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, it was some freak accident on the set. One of the people that was working on the set was actually shot by one of the prop guns that Alec Baldwin shot off at this set. Remind me of
There was actually 2 people who were shot.
Yeah, one person was
shot.
injured and then one person died.
Yeah,
And
she was
the
the
woman-
cinematographer, I believe.
Yeah, the woman that died was Helena Hutchins.
Yeah, that's sad, man.
Super sad.
It's interesting to me how that can happen because that did happen in the Brandon Lee situation as well, right?
Yeah, but I think it was a different situation with the brand. I mean, similar but different. In this case, I think that she was shot and the director was shot too, which is sad because she was in that business for a while. She had a long time in there. Had a lot of friends in the business. Even The Rock commented on her, So it was pretty sad. But now Brandon Lee's was different. I think their issue they had there was they had an inexperienced weapons specialist there, and she just. I heard that people were using that gun for target practice outside of work. Like they were like taking that gun when they weren't shooting and going out to the deserts out there or whatever and using it for target practice. Actually using live rounds, which is a big no-no whenever you shoot films. Brandon Lee's was just like a really, really fucked up circle of events where they went and bought some real guns from a pawn shop, and then they made the bullets into blanks. And it was just like at one scene they wanted to have, because it was a revolver, they wanted to show the gun from the front so they could see the actual bullet in the gun. So they took a bullet, dumped the gunpowder out, put the bullet back in, put it inside the gun. So from the front, it looks like it's loaded. But when the guy pulled the trigger, they forgot to remove the primer, which is like a little cap on the back that has a small explosion, which ignites the gunpowder. But that was enough of an explosion to push the bullet into the barrel. So then for the next scene, they use the actual blank, which is the opposite, which is a bullet with the gunpowder and the primer, but no bullet. So now you got a gun with a bullet in the barrel, and you got a blank in there, which is ultimately a 45 caliber bullet now. So when they aimed at him and shot him, killed him.
They really shoot those guns at like pointed at the actors and shit?
Yeah, but they have people who have to sit there and make sure that they're not loaded and whatnot. In this case, they figured, we put blanks in. It doesn't have anything in it. Nobody checked the barrel to see that there was an actual bullet lodged in there for him. In Alec Baldwin's case, they just were negligent.
Yeah, that's nuts.
Yeah, they were. I mean, that's negligent too. But they were just like they gave him a loaded weapon.
Right.
Some people are saying like, why was he even pointing it at their direction? Like,
yeah, how they get shot is what I want to know.
Well, that's not on him. They're trying to put the blame on him. You can watch multiple movies where the actors are told to point the gun at the camera and pull the trigger. I mean, look at the beginning of what is that damn thing that's really famous? James Bond. What happens at the beginning of every movie of James Bond?
Hold on, the dog is. Go ahead, continue. But the dog is scratching the door. Go ahead. If
you watch it, anytime he walks up and points the gun at the camera and pulls the trigger, that's like the very beginning of every movie is showing that. So it's very likely they just told him to, point the gun
they were getting that angle or something.
Exactly. So
yeah,
that's a likely situation. And if you're not an expert with guns, you can't really tell the difference between a real bullet and a blank. So it's a good chance, it took him a couple shots before he realized he was shooting people. So
yeah,
that's nuts.
It's an unfortunate situation.
It was the person that was holding the camera?
The cinematographer? I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the director.
That's interesting. That's pretty nuts, man. He had to call the father and the daughter and apologize, and that's crazy.
That's sad, yeah.
It's a very interesting situation. Do you think there's any funny business behind it, or was it just who do you think somebody has to be responsible?
I'm not sure. Has something come out and said who was responsible?
Well, the person who was in charge of the guns is every movie with guns. They have a person who's the armor, who's in charge on all the props, like that.
The weapons director or whatever.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And they have to be like very skilled at it. And in this person's case, before this movie, she worked on another movie, and she wrote on her Instagram that she didn't feel confident because she wasn't that she wasn't very not skilled, but she hadn't had very much work in that field. But in that particular movie she worked in, it went well. But she still like addressed the fact that she was feeling nervous for the situation because she didn't feel confident. So in this movie, they apparently had more than one misfires on the set where where actual bullet went off. So this wasn't the first time it happened. So I mean, you would think that they would have put a little more effort into making sure it didn't happen again, because it's kind of like red flags, but they didn't follow them.
Yeah, that's nuts. R.I.P. to the young lady. What's your name one more time?
Helena
Hutchins.
Yeah.
Rest in peace, her, and hopefully get well to the director as well, because that's nuts. Hopefully they still make the movie and are able to honor her in that by finishing the film and getting her name out there.
I feel bad for Alec Baldwin too, because
for sure, absolutely.
I know the guy who shot Brandon Lee. That guy was like depressed. He passed away a couple of years ago, but he was like contemplating suicide. Didn't want to work anymore. I mean, that's got to be a hard pill to swallow for you to be a normal human being and take somebody's life,
Right.
So,
Yeah, that's
Exactly.
crazy.
If they do plan on finishing the film, it's gonna take a while before he's ready to come back.
Right.
yeah, I doubt they will finish it. It's like, I don't think it's like a big blockbuster. So
Yeah.
yeah.
But yeah, man, that is crazy. RIP. And sorry to keep it in such a gloomy kind of mood while we go into the next topic, but
That did happen like a week ago, so we had to talk about it.
yeah, exactly.
That was like 3 days ago, 3 or 4 days ago.
Yeah, it was pretty recent.
Okay.
Recent. But something that was in the past that we didn't really get into or talk about, but there was some developments in this case. The whole Gabby Petito thing. Babe, do you want to go kind of get into it, young V-Ronz?
So this was, have you talked about it at all?
At all? No,
podcast?
You haven't talked about it at all?
So this was a case that kind of went viral on TikTok, and it was a case that honestly happens all the time, which is really sad. Like, women go missing every single day, and that's kind of what happened in this case. But I think why people started being interested in it was because the boyfriend her and her boyfriend Gabby and her boyfriend Brian took a road trip cross country, and basically he came home and she didn't. And so there were all these questions for him, like, where is Gabby? And he didn't speak to anyone. He didn't speak to lawyers or anyone about like where she was. So that obviously rose a lot of red flags. And a couple weeks go by and they eventually find her body. And then like a week later, he goes missing. And a lot of people think that the parents are in on it. A lot of people have all these conspiracies because so many people are involved now. And actually, TikTok has solved a lot of like little areas of crime. Like they pieced together where her body was because someone posted a YouTube video driving past the van that they were cross country in. And so they were able to pinpoint that location and found her body like 2 feet away from that. So they've been able to help the case a lot, but it's interesting to see how involved and how obsessed they are. Like his parents, just because his parents, people think that they know stuff too, because they think they sent him away to survive in the wilderness. And people are posted out of their house like every single day at all hours of the day. Like they have to get groceries delivered. People are harassing them. Like it's intense. And then just recently they found like parts of human remains in the Florida reserve that he was said to be hiding out in. We don't know like exactly what body parts or what it is, but it's been said that they are him. So I don't really know any updates in as far as that, but yeah.
That's nutty.
Mm-hmm.
That's very crazy. And we bring that up not only to bring light to that situation, because it kind of caught traction on TikTok, right?
Mm-hmm.
Most of it wasn't heard nationwide until it got picked up on TikTok.
Mm-hmm.
I know Best of Bias listeners, you guys know what TikTok is. People started talking about it on there, right? People started doing their own investigative research.
Yeah, sometimes things just go viral on TikTok, and that's just kind of how it got set off. And then the news outlets all started picking up on the story and stuff. I mean, it is an interesting story, but the reality is it happens all the time, and they don't get nearly as much broadcast as this one did.
Right. People, especially people of color, people are saying that since this is a little white girl named Gabby Petito, her little name literally like means small, right? Petite. I don't know. I don't want to. Don't quote me on that. But it just makes her seem like, yeah, they painted her in such a light to where it seemed like you had to find her. We had to figure out where she is, and we don't really see that kind of attention given to little girls, of minority girls in the hood. They go missing every day. We don't see the kind of
not even in the hood. Just most people who are of any other color than white. I feel like super bad for that girl's family, but if you go back in history of media, you can name off multiple different cases like this that they were worldwide broadcast for months at a time, where they followed this case, but none of them are anything other than white. And I mean, you got Casey Anthony, which when she killed her daughter, which that lady was evil. You got the Peterson lady. Remember the one, I think she was from the Bay Area or something like that, where she was pregnant, went missing, her husband and
Mm-hmm.
put her in the lake. You got the girl who was in Washington, D.C. I can't remember her name because I don't really try to remember her names. I know people can point people out. The girl who went on that college trip and went missing.
Taken.
Huh?
Taken. Part one.
That's another one. No, that's after laughing. No, the one where the girl, she went with some trip and went missing. They were blaming some dude for it over there, Peru or something like that. I don't remember the names, but like I mean, I still remember them all being posted on the news media, and even they made the Amber Alert after the girl who went missing for a long time and was like a few miles away from her family and didn't try and escape ever. But whenever you hear about those, they're always usually Caucasian, and whenever you hear about like people of any other color, is usually only broadcast for a day, if even that.
Right.
And not only that, but the case ends up just going dry, and people don't put in the effort that all these people on TikTok are doing to kind of keep this case going and stuff. Like most cases just go cold.
Yeah. And
you never hear about them again.
Like as far as like social media, I'm only on Instagram, and I'm on there like barely ever. I probably go on like maybe once every other day. And I heard about the Gabby girl because I mean I'm not on social media, and I heard about it, so it's like that means that they were pushing it pretty hard, because I try to not pay attention to anything in this world because it annoys me. But
well, apparently a Bay Area newscaster got fired for kind of saying what we're saying right now, and it's really not to discredit like what happened to her. It's obviously
not
terrible.
At all. Yeah,
it's just to bring light. Like it's just a conversation starter to bring light to people that may not realize that, like, oh, maybe it's something to think about. Oh, why is this case so popular? Why are we talking about this but not about the hundreds of other little girls that go missing?
Right.
It's actually been a discussion for years, and they've always brought it up, and it's been brought into the discussion, but never really been addressed. They had one individual, I forgot what his name was, but they bring him in for a lot of stuff whenever it's like about Black issues. And he explained simply, he was like, I don't really know why you guys are bringing me here. It's pretty obvious. He was like, we don't run the media, you do. And it's hard for you to sympathize with us because you don't know any of us. So when you see a white girl missing, to you, that's my daughter. But when it's a Black person, you just see that, oh, it's a Black person, let's run it real quick and get it over with. But you actually have sympathy for these other people because they're familiar to you.
Right.
Yeah, that makes sense. Like psychologically.
Yeah. It's nuts, man. I just kind of wish that, I don't know, it wasn't about the association. Me personally, I know the case didn't stem from TikTok, but I feel like the attachment to TikTok made it media worthy enough. You know what I mean? Because now people say it's the TikTok girl or the girl from TikTok that, and then associate the name with the article to get more attention to it. So it becomes more propaganda than actually, okay, we need to find this missing girl. And then it brings into the picture, okay, where's all the coverage for these girls, these people that have gone missing in the past that you guys kind of just gave up on, that they weren't attached to TikTok? You know what I mean?
Yeah, like you're talking about the person who came up missing in the hotel, something like that, got killed in the hotel, right?
Oh yeah, this dude named Ali, I guess he was a TikTok star. He had like 1 million subscribers on TikTok and like 170 followers or subscribers on YouTube. He had murdered him and his wife, I guess, were having a on and off. We're not on and off. We're having a troubled marriage. And he suspected his girl of cheating on him with one of his friends. But I guess that was true because they ended up in the same hotel room together when he came up. And
that was their apartment
room, because he installed some spyware in his daughter's iPad to spy on the apartment and see the ins and outs of it. And then he came over one day when they were there, I guess, and he shot the friend 3 times, like in the face and shit. And he shot his girl once in the forehead and then bounced out and just admitted it to his parents and the police. And I guess now he's actually taking a not guilty plea or some bullshit like that. But again, I think it got as much attention as it did because he was this TikTok guy. In the article, famous TikToker kills wife and friend. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so it's twisted.
I feel that how soon after it happened did he admit to it? Like, was it right away?
Oh, I'm not sure. This is kind of new to me. I think he
I think this
probably
just recently happened. I just heard about it today.
right, and I think
But I
they
mean,
heard
a lot of times when it's something like that where the victims are dead and the person admits to it, it's not really like worth putting all over the news because it's already been solved.
Yeah, I don't think
And
this one's gonna blow up in any way. It's
Right.
more
Yeah.
so he had a following, so that's why you're even hearing about it.
right because this shit.
Yeah. And
Exactly.
the Gabby girl, hers was she was missing, and then they found her body, and then her boyfriend was missing, so it was more of a prolonged situation.
Right.
Yeah.
But
And
they,
Gabby had followers, but she didn't have like a huge following. Like I feel like this guy has like 1 million followers or something like that. I think Gabby only had maybe 100,000 or something at the time.
that's a lot.
But yeah, hers was more of like an investigation, so that's why everyone wanted to join in and think that they could solve the case or like figure out what really happened. But
and that makes sense because a lot of times, like the ones that are prolonged like that are usually missing girls and whatnot. But I mean, they had a black man up there in Chicago who went missing, who was like a high class college student or whatever, top of his class student, and he went missing.
Jaylani Day.
Yes, there you go.
Yeah,
I think he went to Illinois, right?
Yeah. A lot of people were commenting on like people who were following the Gabby Petito case or posting updates about it. A lot of people were commenting a lot, like focus on Jaylani Day. Like, can you speak about that? Can you make a video about that? Because they were all gaining traction by the videos they were posting. And so a lot of them did, which I thought was good. And that case ended up getting solved too.
No, did it get solved?
Yeah.
They found out who killed him because they said I heard that they just had him as drowned.
Yeah.
Oh well, yeah. I don't know if they found who killed him, but they found his body.
Yeah, but the cops admitted that it was strange circumstances behind his death. I think he was missing body parts or whatnot.
Oh shit.
Wow.
Yeah. So yeah, it was just a weird situation. But I mean, a lot of times I think that's what it is. It's like people don't realize that when they post this stuff, they're being really biased because they see something that really attaches to them, and they don't really pay attention to the other side. And that's what we get in media a lot, and most of society. Like that's just how it is when it comes to things that are more familiar to you, and people don't recognize it immediately. And then the thing that I hate is when it's brought up and people tend to try and deny it instead of accepting the fact that, oh shit, I didn't notice that we were doing that. Yeah. But then there's those who try and combat it. Like, and it's pretty obvious that if you look throughout the history of media or whatever, they tend to,
cover stories like that.
Exactly. Yeah. And there's a lot of stories that don't get covered. And even like with the Amber Alert situation, I believe, I forgot what the girl's name was. I mean, I know her first name was Amber, but I believe she was like kidnapped and like kept like only a couple miles away from her house. And even the people who kidnapped her would leave her at home by herself. And she was like 15 years old. So it wasn't like she was a kid. I mean, that's a kid, but she wasn't like a little kid. And around that same time, there was a story about a little black girl who was like 8 years old or something like that, who got kidnapped by two dope fiends and tied her up, put her in the basement. And she was able to chew her way out. And I think Dave Chappelle made a joke about this, where she was like out within like an hour or something like that. And it's like, the news never really covered that type of stuff. And it's like, wouldn't you want to cover stuff like that so it can at least encourage people to like
try to escape?
Yeah, teach their kids, hey, if this happens, the best bet you got is to escape because, we could never see you again. And just teach them to overcome fear and whatnot, because I'm sure the other girl who was kept by those people were probably really afraid, but a lot of times people will let their fear overpower actual logical sense, like they're not home. And I mean, if you believe that the majority of people in the world are good, run outside and go to a neighbor,
You're right.
So
I feel it. Speaking of Dave Chappelle, not to move off that, let's move into some more less gloom topics here. Dave Chappelle is standing behind his stand-up. There's a lot of stuff going on within Netflix and the community there. of taking down his stand-up. Everybody's trying to take it down because of some of the stuff we talked about last time in the last podcast. But he's standing behind his art, and he's saying that you're not going to take it down. He's willing to have a meeting with the people from the LGBTQ plus community, but he's not going to take his art down, and he's happy that Netflix is standing with him on that stance. You know what I mean? But I just wanted to get more so into this topic as my dog tries to jump up here because she's being hella annoying. Talk about that a little bit more as far as comedy goes. Do you think that the art is being ruined by comedy culture? Start by talking about some of your favorite stand-up comedians. And do you think that comedy and cancel culture? Huh? Did I say comedy culture? Okay. Yeah. I was thinking about it. I was like, did I say comedy culture? Cancel culture. Do you think cancel culture is kind of ruining the art of comedy? Like I said, start off with some of your favorite stand-up comedians, some of your favorite comedians in general. And do you think that cancel culture would have canceled that artist? Do you think it would have fucked up his art, his or her art? What do you think?
Yeah, most of them. I mean, Richard Pryor, most of the stuff he talked about, he would have been canceled for. I mean, not really, because Richard Pryor said some really crazy shit. Like, I mean, there was like a stand-up where he literally talked about being gay, like himself, doing some gay stuff. And I think they'd have probably embraced that. But I mean, he had a lot of controversial stuff he said that people probably wouldn't have liked and wouldn't have made it. The majority of comedy, you can like bring up anything pre-2010 and you're gonna get stuff that people are gonna cringe about because they don't know how other people are gonna think about it. Eddie Griffin, I mean, yeah, his stand-up would have been immediately canceled for a lot of stuff he said. Anything on Def Comedy Jam, like it's just like nowadays I feel like it makes comedians have to think a little bit more to be able to format a proper joke because they're trying to now navigate the whole cancel culture as well as keep their career going. But I feel like it waters it down a lot. And, you know, sometimes you get jokes that are like, oh, it's somewhat clever, but it's not that funny. It'd have been funny if they would have been a little more vulgar to it, but they're afraid to. So, yeah. And at the same time, I just hate the whole thing where people are like, you can say anything you want to, just don't say anything about us.
Right.
I don't like that. Like, even like, you know, for a long time, I had that issue with Black people where like, it was cool for Black comedians to say a bunch of stuff about Black people and make fun of them. But when white people did, a lot of time they got mad. And there was this comedian, I forgot what his name is, but he's an actor, comedian, white dude. And he tells this joke where he hung out with, what's the dude's name again? The comedian from 30 Rock.
30 Rock.
The one who got hit by that Walmart truck.
Tracy Morgan.
Tracy Morgan. He tells this joke about him, and he's going into like the full Tracy Morgan like character, and it's a funny joke. It's just about him and Tracy Morgan doing drugs. I don't know how true it is about him. I think it was somebody else's joke that the guy told him he could tell it, but he was going into detail, and he's like even using the N-word at times. Yeah. And, you know, even though that was hard for me to swallow, like, damn, he's using the N-word, I couldn't deny the fact that the shit was funny as fuck. So I was like, you know, I overlooked the fact that, this white dude's using the N-word, but he's using it in a very, like, hilarious way that's making me laugh. So, you know, he's not insulting Black people when he's using it. He's just trying to portray this story as vividly as he possibly can. And he's doing a great job. And it's making Tracy Morgan look like a fucking a maniac. But, I mean, it's probably a true story. So, you know, because Tracy Morgan did some crazy shit. But it's like, you know, nowadays, if he was to do that again or go out and do it, I'm pretty sure people would be pissed off about it. And,
cancel him for sure.
Yeah, in a second. And it's like, stuff like that gets lost because of this cancel culture. It's like, you know, like the fact that it kind of offended me with him using the N-word, I think even added to it, you know, because then it made me want to show people, like, to see their reaction to it. Like, hey, let's do this real quick. Yeah, he said the N-word. Yeah, he did. You know?
What about you, V-Ronz? Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead. No, I was done.
What about you, V-Ronz? What about you in comedy? Some of your favorite comedians?
I don't really like watch a lot of stand-up or anything. Like the most I watch is like Kevin Hart. And I feel like he keeps it pretty light. He doesn't really try to do anything too controversial. He's funny though.
He's funny as shit.
But yeah, I mean, people are very, very sensitive nowadays. Like you have to be careful with what you say because I don't know why, but people just feel like offended by everything. So it does kind of suck for that like raunchy humor because they used to have a little bit more leeway in what they say. I don't know what Dave Chappelle said. I didn't watch it, but I could imagine. I've seen his other stand-ups.
Watch it. It's not as bad as everybody. His other stand-ups are worse. This one is more of. This one is not as bad. It's more of him explaining stuff. I feel like a lot of people who are protesting it didn't even listen to it.
Yeah. They probably heard like one line or something.
Yeah, they heard the baby line probably from a little clip and was like, oh yeah, cancel him. And it's like, watch the whole thing. He jumps into a lot of different topics, but he also the way he does it is very very tactful, and he even like speaks highly of people of transgender as well as still like being himself and calling himself a transphobe, but he's doing that to just poke at them. He's trolling. Right. Yeah.
He's super trolling. Yeah, it's good. Yeah. Me personally, I think a lot of my favorite stand-up comedians, I don't know, they kind of teeter the line of cancel culture. I think cancel culture is kind of like a 2020, 2021 type of thing. They kind of just coined it to try to like cancel. I think cancel culture kind of started around like the Me Too. Well, go ahead. They started naming it.
Yeah, but I think like 2019 is when it like really started, and then after that it just took off.
Yeah, it was wild. Yeah, and then after that, it's just like a lot of stuff that people say. A lot of comedians did become really PC. People kind of complain about Kevin Hart being too PC and not really being controversial and not crossing that line that the classic Black comedians really did. And not even Black comedians, comedians in general that go to, that be out there doing stand-up comedy out there in the streets, you know what I mean, at the comedy clubs, not at the big venues like he does, telling the dirty jokes that people kind of really like, and we're kind of expecting and waiting from somebody of the caliber of Kevin Hart, especially getting paid the money he's getting paid now. We expect him to be telling the jokes at his stand-ups that cost fucking $500 a ticket to get into, to be telling some of that real shit, some shit on these topics that we want to hear, just like Dave Chappelle gives us. We like that shit. I do feel like cancel culture, I feel like it's barely penetrating this comedy barrier. I feel like comedy should be immune to some of the bullshit that the real world goes through. You should be able to go there to be relieved from the real world. Yep. Everybody from every demographic, culture, group gets jokes. There's comedians from each genre, group, community that make fun of themselves, make fun of other people. I think if you're going to be listening to comedy, you're going to be interested in comedy, you got to be willing to hear jokes that make you uncomfortable, because sometimes those people think are funny. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Am I tripping? Is that
it's pretty,
think about the late great Bernie Mac. I mean, he had the whole story about his nephews and nieces and nephew. And like, I mean, he's talking about beating kids to the white meat show, talking about his nephew being a little feminine and gay. Yeah. And that shit went over well. It became a whole sitcom for years that did really great. Nowadays, if he did that, they would be like, "Oh no, he's gay shaming. He's talking about beating gay." It's like, no, it was just being funny. It's like he's talking like I don't know. People nowadays take stuff way too seriously, and it does definitely like just water down stuff too much, and it makes it where, I don't know, the whole freedom of speech thing is out the window, So.
Definitely feel that. But I think, it just needs to, because people getting canceled over shit. I mean, people doing strange shit like being pedophiles and shit like that. If there's people like that in comedy, get those people out of that shit.
Definitely.
Yeah, exactly. But saying some weird shit that may make you feel weird, that's what they're supposed to do. They take time to craft these jokes, like you said. They have writers. They sit in rooms for hours coming up with this comedy. It's not meant to offend, but if it is offending, it's supposed to offend in a good way to make you laugh, make others laugh.
It's supposed to get your attention.
Exactly. And hopefully that this whole situation just brings light to that, and comedy takes a step forward, thanks to, not saying that he's the only person that does it, but takes a stance against cancel culture and just helps comedy take that next step. But moving on here, since I was talking about little lists here, Best of Bias listeners, back in the beginning of the Best of Bias days, I used to talk about artists and music that's come out recently. But now I want to take a deeper dive into it since I got two music aficionados here, which I call you and you, music aficionados. Two people that I look to for good music and some advice on music. I just want to know, let's give the Best of Bias listeners two artists, hip hop wise, R&B wise. It could be anything, any genre. We're not gonna, discriminate. Underground artists that may not be mainstream to everybody, that you can offer to give them to listen to. It doesn't have to be a full project. It can be a single, one song, just an interview, freestyle, just something for the people to kind of have. It's getting cold outside. People are going to start getting, staying inside. So something to, listen to. So who wants to start? Let's ladies first. What you got, babe? V-Ronz. What underground artists are you listening to right now? Give me your top two or three artists that the people should listen to.
I don't know if he's considered underground, but I really do like Young Blue. He's kind of newer, I would say. But it was funny because I went to his show with my friend and she knows who he is, but she didn't hear his new album, but she knew all his old songs and I didn't when he played them. And then all his new songs from the album she didn't know. So I thought that was funny. So maybe he has been around longer than I thought. But I think people are slowly starting to kind of know who he is. I don't know if he's considered underground per se, but a lot of people still don't know who he is. So just wanted to mention him because his album was really good.
And what was this album called? Moon Man or something like that?
Moon Boy.
Good. Okay. Is that the only artist you got right now?
That's the only one that comes to mind.
One more for the people. Young Blue got people. I know you guys heard a couple singles out there. The one with Drake. Mine Still.
Your Mine Still.
Yeah, that's the
one that most people know of. But yeah, he has a lot of good music.
Check it out. AKA, what you got? Some artists besides yourself that the people should listen to.
I was going to say Dylan, and Dylan.
Yeah.
No, but
plug.
There's one cat I always forget his name, and he's from I think he's from Vallejo or something like that. He's Charlamagne has posted him on his Instagram a few times. I think he's even went on the Breakfast Club pretty recently.
Oh yeah, I remember the guy you're talking about.
Lil Russell or something like that. I can't remember what it is, but I like his bits because he talks more. Excuse me, I'm burping. I'm drinking a lot of these fucking Mike Hard lemonades. But he talks more positive rap and not in the common sense, Common Sense the rapper, but more of it's still street talk, but it's from a positive view. And,
wait. You mean common? You confused me when you said that. So common sense as in he just raps about stuff that's obvious, or not the rapper?
Common Sense, the rapper, Common Sense. Well, his name is, you know him as Common, but his original rap name is Common Sense.
Okay.
Yeah,
so you confused the shit out of
Tiffany
right there.
Haddish. Yeah.
Okay. I was like, what?
I'm a little older than you guys. I forgot.
I was like, what? But yeah,
no. When he came out, his original rap name was Common Sense. But he is Common Sense is more of on the positive rap, tip. And this rapper, he talks about the positive perspective from a hood perspective. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I think he's from Vallejo or Oakland, one of the two. I don't know. I know he's from the Bay though. And I like his style. His style seems really easy, the way he does it. It just seems like it's not forced. And yeah, he has a pretty good style. I've heard a couple of his songs. He posts everything on his Instagram, so it's pretty dope.
I think I posted one of his freestyles from the LA Leakers on the Best of Bias Instagram. So go check that out if you guys haven't seen it. Get
probably.
Into that. Yeah.
Other than that, I mean, Dylan, and Dylan.
Right. Yeah. Go check out that what's it? SoundCloud.
SoundCloud, AKA. I'm done with that. Everybody gonna fucking listen to that shit. But I don't know. Lately, I've been listening to Russ, which is weird as fuck. Russ.
No, yeah, he's very underground. I wouldn't say he's super mainstream yet. People are kind of against him for speaking out against those Atlanta producers.
But he got bars though. I mean, bars. He made great ass songs. So,
and he's an entrepreneur to the fullest. He does everything by himself.
I'm not into like excluding music just because a person does something heinous, unless it's really heinous, like some R. Kelly shit. Like,
Mhm.
but even with R. Kelly shit, sometimes the ignition come on. You know, the shoulders get to moving. I don't know,
Mhm.
but
The shoulders get to moving.
but
What about you?
Me
that's some heinous
personally,
shit.
my artist, shoot. I don't know, man. I listen to a lot of underground artists. I feel like it's the same that I always talk about because I like, uh, you already know, I listen to Quentin Miller all the time. I think I download every single song. Quentin Miller is so far underground, you need a shovel. You know what I mean? People probably heard of him back when that Drake situation happened, him and Meek Mill, the ghostwriting shit. He was writing, or, well, I put in a reference track for one of the songs. I think it was Rico, right? The reference track for.
He did it for a couple songs.
Yeah, a couple songs, definitely.
0 to 100, I think that one.
I don't know. Yeah, a lot of songs on there. If you're reading this too late, he did a lot of work with him on that. And once it came out, when he did the feature with Meek Mill on one of his albums, Meek Mill exposed it, and kind of from there he got blackballed from the industry. So he's been doing a lot of underground work. He's dropped hella music projects, hella albums, and all the whole discography is out right now. You can download it on Apple Music, listen to that shit. You can see kind of, if you listen to it, you can see definitely the vibes from If You're Reading This Is Too Late. He's one of the artists that I've been listening to for a long time underground. Everything he does. Of course, I Am Sue. He's very local to California. So he's kind of, expanded out to Atlanta and a couple places out there doing work with some of those Atlanta artists, worked with Wiz Khalifa and shit like that as well. A lot of people in LA, but very local. He has a big discography, like 10, 12 plus years doing it. Very cool sound out of the Bay Area.
I think he's producing now too.
Yeah, he produces his own stuff.
Yeah,
he's always been producing.
Yeah.
Talented dude, super talented.
Him and Sage the Gemini producing and doing shit. All the whole HBK out of like Vallejo, Richmond, that area out here in East Bay. But yeah, that's pretty much a lot of the artists that I listen to now are underground or pretty much mid underground to fucking pretty much superstars now. But it's like, it's crazy. It's interesting to see the crossover. Like we talked last time about artists and how now they're becoming pop stars and stuff like that. I just kind of listen to good music, man. I'm starting to get more into R&B now. Cross back over into that because I'm kind of tired of hearing about the violence, man. I need to hear some smooth voices talk about some cool shit. Bring the love back, you know what I mean?
I'm excited for Summer Walker's new album.
Right.
I think everybody's excited for that.
I have no idea who that is.
The ladies
Summer
of
Walker?
R&B. You gotta hear these ladies got some really good voices out here. These R&B, the women are taking it from the men for show. Even though it's
I listen to old girl Her.
She's great, incredible. Yeah.
If you like her, you would like Summer Walker.
Voices immaculate.
It's depending on what their concepts are, because you got a lot of these female artists who be like talking and they just be sitting there complaining about the dudes they with, and it's like,
that's what this album is gonna be about.
Yeah, that's what this album's gonna be about. You chose that nigga. It's your fault.
Speaking of, is she still dating London on the Track?
Nope. They had a baby together and they broke up. She with another dude, I guess.
Oh.
Yep. So it's gonna be a lot of shit talking going on there. But Adele's coming out with another album that's gonna be about her ex too.
Adele already dropped her album.
Oh, it came out already?
I thought so.
No, she dropped a single.
She gonna make an album about her ex-husband.
Yeah, she paying alimony to that nigga, man.
Hey, equality. I'm feminist to the fullest, my dude. I'm all about equality in every sense of the being. I'm not about conditional equality. I'm about 100% equality.
Right. Yeah. So we got SZA dropping too soon. I think that's happening. Hopefully on the rap side, Kendrick Lamar drops soon. Hopefully it's not too late or too early for J. Cole to drop another album soon. His last album dropped in March. So, I mean, it's almost around that time again. So maybe a little later in this year, we'll get another album from him in response to all these other rappers' albums.
He takes a long time, though.
Right. But he's trying to, after he's done with his little checklist, he's supposed to be done. You know what I mean? Going on to other ventures. And you already see he stepped foot into that, doing the shoes, playing in the NBA, where, you know what I'm saying? I think, man, after a couple of years, a lot of these artists that we like now and are up on top are going to be kind of done. And we're not going to have these guys because they're going to look on to other ventures because, you know, hip hop is in a weird place right now as far as the culture. But the music
I think him and Kendrick just need to get together and make an album. They say they won't do it, they wouldn't do it, but they should just do it and surprise motherfuckers with it and just have like a double CD. Well, we don't even do CDs no more, but just like a 24 song album, some crazy shit with just nothing but.
You would need more songs, them two. You need like a fucking 30 song album.
Yeah, but just something to make you just think every single one. So,
right.
Yeah.
Just bars. Something else to make you think a little bit. Season opener, Barclays Center in Brooklyn. There was some protesters trying to break past brigades and to break into Barclays Stadium or Arena in protest of Kyrie Irving not being able to play because he's not vaccinated. We talked a little bit about this in the last episode. Now people are protesting for Kyrie Irving. And what do you think is going on now? What do you think protest is appropriate? Do you think he's doing too much? What do you guys think? Do you think people are supporting him or just using this to really voice their concerns about the vaccine?
I think anyone who is against the vaccine is going to take any opportunity to protest it. Just like they're doing with schools. They had like a mandatory or a protest walkout on like a couple weeks ago or a week ago where they just didn't bring their kids to school, trying to protest vaccines in school as well. So
yeah. What about you, AKA? What you think?
I mean, it's hard because I'm not like against the vaccine, so it's like I can understand how the league could be upset about it. Not upset, but it could be indifferent because I mean that's people's. We know that the coronavirus is an issue. We are not 100% sure that this whole vaccine issue is an issue. We just think it is. It's speculation. Mm-hmm. So I can understand completely why they're like, yeah, you can't come to a game because we know the corona is an issue. So
right, and all it takes is somebody getting to get the whole place shut down. They're like, no, we're taking the precautions we need to take. If something slips through the cracks, at least we've been taking these precautions the whole time. Not we're gonna just allow whatever to happen, and then somebody gets an outbreak in here. We're the cause for a whole bunch of people getting coronavirus. Then that'll be the worst case scenario.
I feel like what has big of an issue this is as far as corona and people needing to be vaccinated, because I'm not even vaccinated yet, although I'm doing research on it and I'm probably going to get it pretty soon before I move to Indiana. They should be a lot more transparent. And even if they are being transparent, because I've been like trying to research it for like the past 2 weeks and I still feel like I don't know shit. Transparency probably isn't the best word. I think it should be more like layman's terms. They should be as like simple and like realistic as it is as far as like with everything they have is like, hey, okay, if you get it, it's a possibility you can get blood clots. If you get it, there's a high percentage chance that if you do get corona, which you can still get corona if you get it, but you'll probably survive it. They should just be outright as much as possible out there because people will hear what they want to hear, but if you're at least feeding them the basic truth enough,
right? Yeah,
you'll get more people to
facts. Yeah.
You'll get more people to be comfortable because there's side effects to it, definitely.
Yeah,
and it's just the problem is you got so much propaganda giving these like outlandish ass side effects, like fucking nanobots and shit like that. And in all reality, I'm like, dude, I'm fucking 38. Black men don't live that long anyways, so I don't probably have no more than like 25 more years. I don't give a fuck if you put a nanobot in me and follow me for the next one. Who gives a fuck?
You're right. I don't really think.
Yeah, I'm just mad because the whole sterile thing is pretty much fake. I'm like, I was hoping for the sterile. I was hoping like, yeah, I ain't trying to have no little kids. Fuck that.
Please sterilize me.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's crazy. People say you'll grow a tail. You'll grow extra appendages or some bullshit like that. It's wild.
You learn how to throw a Dukins. You become a mutant.
Right. That's kind of cool. I was waiting for that to happen. I was trying my Spider-Man for a couple of days after. I was like,
you get an animanium skeleton.
Oh yeah, I don't know about all that. You gotta do a lot of testing to see that. But yeah, it's interesting to see that people are taking that stance and try to get in and start try to break into Barclays Arena. That's nuts. It was a little scrum for a little bit there, tossed around barricades. I said barricades. But yeah, that's interesting. The Kyrie saga continues, and it doesn't seem to be ending anytime soon. What else we got? What else we got on the docket? I'm sorry, I'm making you yawn over here. Dance with the Stars. Okay. Dance with the Stars. I know a lot of people don't watch Dancing with the Stars, but a lot of people do.
Speaking of basketball.
All right. It's on ABC, and that's a fucking premium channel. Everybody watch ABC. But Iman Shumpert, he's on there, man. One of our own, very own in the sports world. They always, throw us in there to give us a little representation and see what the athletes can actually do in the dance world. Iman Shumpert is this year's candidate. What's the dancing coach? The choreographer's name? Danielle. Mm-hmm. They been on a rocky road, but their latest performance, they did a rendition of Us. It's how horror week, so they did like a Halloween classic type shit. They did a rendition of Us, and they did contemporary dance. And he did great. It was crazy. His footwork was down. He does a bunch of lifts and stuff. She's kind of a smaller woman, so he does a lot of lifts and twists her around. She's really good at stiffening her body and using it as props to convey what they're going to convey. And to see him go from being a, basketball players, they're fucking tall as shit, first of all.
And them being so tall usually makes them really kind of awkward at dancing.
And gangly.
Yeah.
But it's a crazy amount of people on the show from all different spectrums of, entertainment. You got country singers. You got JoJo Siwa, that kid star. She's on there. You got a bunch of people, a Peloton guy, a bunch of people from like kind of pop culture and stuff from the past and stuff. Get out there with dance coaches and kind of compete.
What is a Peloton guy?
The Peloton little bike you ride with the TV screen.
The shit that you be posting? Yeah, okay.
Yeah, the instructor.
He's an instructor.
One of the instructors is on Dancing with the Stars.
Are they famous now too?
I mean, I guess famous enough.
They're, what do they call him? The celebrity guru or fitness guru.
Fitness guru.
Mm-hmm.
I guess that's what they are. But yeah, Iman Shumpert, if you guys haven't seen it, Best of Bias listeners, we just have to plug it on here and talk about it real quick because this man is making an improvement. In my opinion, of the show's all about these people coming from different experiences and levels of dance and seeing their growth throughout the show. Yeah. Some people can dance better, some have more experience than others, but seeing them go through different dances and trying to learn how to do different dances in different like situations is pretty cool. Mm-hmm. He's, like I said, he's a basketball player and he's out here doing the what are some of the fucking dance styles? The foxtrot, contemporary, doing fucking weird ass shit and putting himself out there, making himself very vulnerable. A lot of like NBA players, sports stars, they don't really show that side of them. They could be embarrassed to see what their boys will say. But this man put on a performance, got a perfect score. He's been in the bottom a couple times during the show. To get a perfect score shows his improvement, which is really tight. One of his teammates, he won a championship with LeBron. So LeBron posted about him on Twitter. His performance was dope. So everybody out there is performing. Even like one of the dance gurus was like, this is one of the performances that you'll play over and over and over because this is a dope ass performance and he killed it. And he did. So shout out to him. Shout out to all athletes out there. You can do anything. They tell you can't go out there and learn how to do the fucking foxtrot. Yes, you fucking can. Just because you dunk a ball don't mean you can't go out there and fucking
KD. Anything is possible. Anything is possible.
Kevin Durant. Anything is possible. But yeah, moving on because I know everybody didn't watch that too much. But let's talk about Tesla and Elon Musk right now. Big announcement here. I don't know if anybody else, unless you're like a stockholder in Tesla, will care about this. But the rich get richer. Tesla has become the second fastest business to reach a worth of $1 trillion. Sixth company in U.S. history to reach $1 trillion. He had Elon Musk and his company had the largest gain in like U.S. history and net worth. He gained $36 billion in a couple of days. Now Elon Musk and his company is worth $200.86 billion.
That's fucking crazy.
That's included, and he only owns 26% of Tesla, and that is his net worth, $200.86 billion.
Wow.
Being 100 billion more than Jeff Bezos, which we know is doing a bunch of crazy shit with his money, and you know he's richer than rich. Gave up half his salary to his wife and still richer than everybody. But yeah, that's nuts. How you guys feel about that?
Did you mention that change that they made that made them?
Oh yeah, the change. They actually made a deal with Hertz, so they're able to lease out their cars to the rental company Hertz for people that are, you know, getting off planes and need cars for like, you know, while they're in town on business trips or whatnot. Tesla can be leased out for that. So, you know, that deal.
I ain't never driven a Tesla. I might just go crash my car just so I can get a Hertz real quick.
Bruh,
get a Tesla.
Man, the rate that they're making Tesla,
rent a car.
Get you a Tesla, test drive that shit, because at the rate they're making Teslas, they're shipping out the older models for super cheap, like the pretty much for what you got one of your new cars for. You can get like a 2018 Tesla right now for like $20,000, $26,000.
I'm down with that.
You know what I mean? It's pretty crazy because they have to make room for the newest Teslas they make, so they have to keep pushing the older models out. And I've looked online, and those bitches are very, very cheap.
But they're ugly. That's the only thing that kills me. They're like really they're unattractive looking.
And they all look the same. So the only differentiator is the color.
They look like a beetle to me or something. I don't know.
But I bet the inside is so comfortable, and the fucking applications to it. And I feel it. They got the bigger ones with the butterfly doors for the back seat. They got the Roadster. They got a bunch of shit in there, and I feel like I'm gonna probably get me one. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what.
I'm a fan of Michael Knight Rider. I'm gonna be mad if my car don't talk to me.
Well, shit.
Hey, what's up, nigga?
You don't think Tesla's got Siri?
Fuck Siri. I want to have like a hood nigga voice. Like, oh, what's up, nigga? Where you been, man? Like, I've been tired. Hey, wash me.
Right? You better charge me up. I'm thirsty on this bitch.
My balls is dirty.
My balls. Protect my undercarriage, bitch. Yeah, but shout out to Elon Musk. And if you're a shareholder with Tesla right now, you're probably super pumped right now because
I've been seeing all the people posting like the shares are up.
Right. Yeah. It's going to cost some money to become, get you a share in Tesla because they're doing big things. And if you're already there and you got in early, congratulations to you guys. Because shit.
I try and throw as little shade at these guys as possible, but I couldn't imagine being a billionaire and not being like a legit philanthropist and try to better the world, because who the fuck needs that much money? You're one person. You only need a few $1 million to make your family like comfortable. Mm-hmm. Like I couldn't be a billionaire and not be just like spending every second of my day trying to make the world better. I don't understand that.
Yeah.
That's hard for me. I mean, I know it's probably a lot harder because they're actually in that position, but I don't know. I feel like you can at least, if you ain't got to do everything, but you can at least like go and make some places a lot better than they are for people. Yeah. So they're not like, so there's so many places in this world people are just struggling horribly.
That's enough money to go to every city and do one good thing for the city.
Yeah.
Yeah, really it is. And it's like, I understand like a lot of times you have government issues that are like blocking you from doing certain things. But I mean, you can go to places where like third world countries where people are just fucking in agony. And even if you're not going with the government, you can still just do basic stuff that will make their lives a lot better. Yeah. I'm not saying go and like buy them food and shit, but you can like set up programs with your money to make them have better lives, to give them better knowledge. And it's like, I don't know, just me, I just can't see I only need like $5,000 and $5 million. Goddamn. $5 million. And I feel like I can figure out a situation for me and my loved ones to have like a pretty decent life, because I know everybody in my family is intelligent enough to, have income, to get like regular income. So I mean, buy some land, set some shit up, whatever, you know what I mean? But the rest of that money, what the fuck are you doing with it? You're not taking that shit when you're dead. It's like,
right. You have a 200. You just give away the 0.86 billion, not even the 200, just the 0.86 billion.
And then what if like the apocalypse happened? All that money you had is now wasted. You had all the potential to help motherfuckers when you could, but now you have no money because
it's just paper.
Yeah. So it's like, do something while you don't know what could happen. I mean, Rome lasted for as long as it did, but then it was gone. So Like,
gonna be
I
his
don't know.
kids.
But you don't know if that's gonna even work for your kids, for your kids, your grandkids, your great grandkids, because you don't know when something's gonna happen to where the money you have has no monetary value.
True.
So it's like, I don't know. I feel like for the time being, while I have it, and you have that much fucking money, I would just feel uncomfortable dying knowing that goddamn I have all this money and I didn't do shit to help motherfuckers the way I should have. I don't know.
Yeah, I feel that. Yeah. It's a ridiculous amount of money, and who knows what he's gonna do for it. I don't know how many kids he has, but I only heard of him having like one. So if he only has one kid and a bunch of money, fucking do something with the money. Fucking buy me a bunch of pops or something. I don't know, man. Just don't not be philanthropic. Go out there. Use that money for good. You like that? Use that money and do something good with it. Moving on. I don't know if you guys want to talk about this. Semen retention?
That's the name of the game.
Semen retention. So on Gilly the Kid and Wallow's podcast, I forgot what the hell it was called. I forgot what the podcast is called. I'll get it in a second.
$1 million worth of game?
$1 million worth of game, for sure. Yeah. Kevin Gates was on there, and he was talking about a pretty interesting topic here. He was saying during sex, he practices semen retention, which is to where some people call it edging. Is where you have sex with your partner and you try not to orgasm. He says that it helps with not only his, this is some of the health benefits you can get from doing that. He says it gives you higher energy, muscle growth, brain functionality, and it helps you throughout the day do things that you normally couldn't do. So he likes to pleasure his partner and not orgasm. How do you guys feel about this practice? Do you think
that can't be healthy?
Yeah, I don't think it's healthy.
What yeah, I am has the vast majority of men in America. I don't get a ton of pussy, so yeah, I have a lot of that. And I notice that when I go to the gym and I ain't got none in a while, yeah, I'm in there throwing up 4 plates like it's nothing. I probably fucking touch to the ceiling. So I believe it. I don't know if it's because of that or if it's because of me just being frustrated as fuck, but hey, that's why a lot of boxers and shit don't do it before. Like when they're in a training camp, they don't have sex because they feel like it makes them a little more aggressive, more stronger. I believe it. Yeah, like when you sitting there like, I'm gonna fuck this dude up. It's his fault that I ain't got no pussy in a couple weeks. So yeah,
I feel it. Yeah, I feel that.
Isn't he talking more so like just not letting it out? Like he's just keeping it all in?
Yeah.
Hey,
like, is that the same thing?
Your penis and balls don't know the difference. They expect if they get some, they about to explode, and then you deprive them of that, they're gonna be mad. So yeah,
I guess it's the same effect.
Yeah, it's pretty harsh. I don't know. Kevin Gates has been a different thinker. I remember he was one of the first people in hip hop to talk about eating the booty, and after that, it became a trend. So maybe everybody will stop.
Yeah. But I mean, what he's saying would make more sense because typically they say you don't get knee if you're like in training camp for fighting, but if you're actually in the act of having sex, but you stop yourself from orgasm, your body will naturally produce more semen or more sperm if you're in the act because it feels like it's about to try and reproduce the fucking population, and then you stop. Now your body has more semen that is produced. Yeah, but your body has more semen that is produced. Plus the semen that's already there that hasn't been released, and your body just absorbs that. And in all reality, that is protein. That is what it is. So, I mean, yeah, I can see how that
makes sense then.
I prefer steak.
I prefer steak. I just ate some steak. It was phenomenal. So yeah, 100%. If I had some regular, I probably would not listen to shit he said. But I agree that it's probably a benefit. But I mean, I'm not an athlete. And I'm pretty sure he's not, so I don't see why it matters.
And I'm sure a lot of basketball players out there saying "fuck you,"
and
not going with that.
I ain't getting no pussy today. We got a game. No.
Hour before the game, we're going down. Lastly, before we get up out of here, Dune was released, I believe, last week on HBO Max. It was part 1, surprisingly. Dune, I guess, I know this might be controversial to you, but I heard that Dune, the book, was, what the basis of Star Wars was basically. They ripped off Dune to make Star Wars, but they made a movie first.
I don't know. Maybe I mean, it's a possibility. There's a big difference in them. Like, there's not very much similarity, but there is a substance that's, I think it might be called spice in Star Wars universe that's similar to something from Dune. But if it is, I mean, a lot of shit was. If you think about it, a lot of shit expired. A lot of shit. So
I feel it. So, anyways, how'd you guys feel about the movie? I know you guys both seen it. How'd you guys feel about it?
It was okay. I haven't seen the original ones in a long time, but I feel like, and this isn't even like a good interpretation of it, because when I was younger, I got a lot more excited as shit than I do now. But I feel like when I watched it when I was younger, I was a lot more into it. And this one was like, it was okay. It was a movie worth watching. But it was, that's all it was. But it wasn't bad. I feel like people who aren't already aware of the original and aren't fans of that, they didn't do a good job of trying to get them like really worked up for the next one. I think people just watched it and were like, okay, it was what it was. Maybe they liked it, maybe they didn't. But like, I don't think they're really looking forward to the next part, or even if they even know it's the next part coming out.
Right.
When you say the original, are you talking about Star Wars?
Oh, yeah, I forgot you're young. No.
No, I'm not that young. I know what Star Wars is, but you said that there wasn't too many similarities. Or was there original Dune?
There's original Dune back in the
80s. It was a movie?
It was 2 movies. I believe it was 2 or 3. 2 movies. And the movies actually started. I don't know if you Sting is. You know who Sting is? The singer.
The artist?
The artist Sting, the singer.
Oh, hell yeah.
So he played the main villain in that. And they didn't actually, his character was not portrayed in this one yet. Mainly because, I mean, I haven't read the books, but I read a lot about them. His character isn't that important yet. He will come later on. His character is basically like, the main character in this Dune. His character is like the opposite of that character. So from the evil people's point of perspective, they're like the same person, but from the opposite spectrums. And they end up having to fight each other and whatnot. But so they're gonna get somebody to play that role. But yeah, there's multiple parts to it, or more than one part. And yeah, there was a version back in the 80s that might be worth watching. It's not a bad movie at all. The graphics, of course, are not nowhere near what we have nowadays, but
the graphics in this one are pretty good.
The ships are fucking crazy.
They're dope, but storytelling back in those days were better. So if you want to get for the story, you can go back and watch those ones. They have a better story.
Yeah, I feel like the hype of this one is Zendaya, and she has like 3 lines.
It was, exactly. And I mean, she'll have a bigger part in the next movies. But yeah, if you want to go back just to understand what you're getting into, yeah, definitely go back and watch the old ones from the 80s. They're anything from the 80s to me has a better story.
Yeah,
it's just now people are so like visually like motivated that if you have a good story, they're like, well, what about the CG? But overall, it wasn't a bad movie though.
What did you feel about?
I thought it was good too. I didn't even watch the Star Wars movies, so I didn't really know the plot or really what was going on. I had to ask you a lot of questions.
They have nothing to do with each other.
Yeah, it's
yeah, but it sounds like similar.
Yeah, it's kind of similar and like spacey, kind of spacey. I'll tell you my similarities I saw in a second.
But yeah, I thought it was good.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. I did see a lot of Star Wars inspiration from the main character. They kind of gave me a whole Luke Skywalker vibe.
The was it in the Jedi mind trick? That shit.
No, just well, not only that too, but just like his whole temperament. He gave me of that whole Anakin, not even Luke Skywalker, Anakin vibe.
Yeah.
When he was kind of figuring out his the dark side, kind of like in the Force and stuff like that. Kind of gave me that feel.
You also got to realize that at that time, Anakin wasn't a thing. When that book came out and they made
I know.
Star
I'm
Wars,
just saying,
yeah.
like, some of the similarities to the movie that I saw now, and some of the
Oh,
rumored
okay.
stuff that it drew kind of inspiration from it. Now, just this movie coming out now, it's like it gives this movie an excuse to try to make so many similarities that people already know the backstory. So I
Okay, yeah,
kind
makes
of
sense.
felt like some of the similarities kind of put it, but I don't know. Me personally, I felt like the different languages that the evil army was speaking was kind of dope. It was kind of ominous, but at the same time, what it do, boy?
Chris.
What's going on? Just dipping out. But anyways, yeah, I thought it was pretty dope. Like, I thought the fight scenes were dope. Those shields that they had was interesting as hell. Didn't really understand how the shields work. But some of the critical spots I guess it got through the shield. Some of it it didn't. The shields I didn't understand. Jason Momoa.
I think it was like they were saying if you move slow you can get through the shields, but if you move fast they kind of stop you out. It was
It was weird. I don't know. It was
What?
visually cool, but I didn't really understand how you got through it. I don't know. Jason Momoa's character was really interesting to me. I thought he was a bad guy. I was saying he's a bad guy the whole movie, just because he was barely really in it. I don't know. He came in spots, and it was like, okay,
every time he was in, it was like Big Brother type of shit.
Yeah, but I just felt like it was so spotty that I thought he was gonna be like a twist in the movie to be like, oh, he is actually working with the fucking other guys. But nah, he just kind of ended up. Spoiler alert: he ended up dying. But I just kind of thought I was waiting for that twist the whole time. But I just feel like he's a big star. I feel like some of the bigger stars weren't really in the movie as much as I expected.
Yeah, they even showed what's his name again? The one who played Thanos. Like his character.
Oh yeah, Josh Brolin.
They never showed him die, so he might come back. And,
right. Yeah.
Like any spoilers, but yeah. And even the guy who played his father, that guy's was Apocalypse, and he's gonna be
and he was in Star Wars too.
Yeah, he was, but he's also gonna be what's that dude's name again from Marvel?
Moon Knight.
Moon Knight, yeah, there you go.
Yeah. So but it was funny to me how like he was the main character in the movie, but he didn't really do much. He did a lot of talking, but then ended up just getting stuck with that shit. First of all, if those weapons ever were invented, that'd be the worst shit ever. Those little those little needle things that you can barely even see. Yeah, and it just paralyzes you. Mm-hmm. Like, what?
That's not cool at all.
That shit was nuts. That was nuts.
I mean, all that shit was cool. The little fucking tooth with the poison in it was dope. I mean, and that dude, the doctor was a jackass. It was like, dude, obviously gonna kill your wife. Like, why would you?
Yeah.
You fuck up a whole fucking like kingdom just for that. So
yeah, and that pill that he gave him in his tooth when he got fucking poison gas.
I mean, that was dope. That to me was dope as fuck. But.
Yeah, it's the whole room. Fucking everybody in that bitch died. I just thought the little details were pretty dope. Just the hazmat suits. They even look hella interesting and futuristic.
But now, like you know, we're gonna have what is his name again? Fuck. Drax. What is his name again?
Oh, Batista.
Yeah, his character is gonna do something in the next movie, but they kind of killed off all of or most of the characters on the good side that you would want to see like really doing some shit. So now they're gonna have to make some new characters, you know. But
I thought Jason Momoa's character was cool, so that kind of sucks.
Yeah. To be honest, the original movie I have to go back and watch because it's been so many years since I've seen it. I don't remember what happened. So that's why but I kind of don't want to go back and watch it because I feel like if I do, it's gonna fuck up the movie for me. Because the fact that I don't remember everything makes it like more worthwhile. When this one came out, I was almost gonna go back and watch the original one. I was like, nah, because it's gonna fuck it up for me. Right. So I didn't. So it's like I don't really remember everything that how much it matches up and stuff. I remember some little things from the movie, but not very much. So I'm like debating on going back and watching it or not. But
Best of Bias listeners, if you haven't seen the old one, go check it out. It's 1983.
I think it was 84, 85.
84, 85.
I don't remember, but it was pretty old.
Go check it out and come back and leave some comments under the YouTube and let us know. Compare and contrast. Tell us how you like it. But yeah, Dune, was it good?
Yeah.
Was it pretty good? I liked it. I liked it a lot. I like. Let's not forget about the worms, sandworms. How gigantic them motherfuckers was. Them motherfuckers ate up the whole spice little tank thing.
Yeah, they was assholes, and I'm assuming that I don't know if maybe they didn't say it, or maybe I don't. Maybe it's not true, but I'm assuming that those worms were what made the spice. Because it's like, why not just try and kill them fucking things so they stop fucking with you?
So it's like worm shit.
The big worms, like, put a bomb in there, blow their ass up because they're annoying.
No, like spice is worm shit.
I'm assuming that's what it is.
Ugh.
Because
they're snorting worm shit.
What reason would you not, with all that technology? What reason would you not blow them fuckers up? Because they're a big nuisance.
Right. You see that when they were spitting in that thing and then drinking it? They're spitting in that little thing. Remember when they spit into that little contraption and they poured the spice in it and dripped down, and they just fucking drank it. It was nuts. It was a very interesting concept. A really good watch. One more question at the end. World. What? Yeah, for real. At the end, was that the black lady that got eaten by the sandworms that was riding the sandworm at the end? That we assume. Because you remember at the end of the movie where he was getting taken to where he was joining the I forgot the Furman. He was joining the Furman and he was walking to where they were from, and he saw the person riding the sandworm in the distance. I mean, somebody was on top of it.
I was at work when I was watching it, so I probably don't remember that.
Yeah, he was somebody was actually on top of the sandworm riding it with like chains. It was riding on top of the sandworm as it was going in the sand. So I didn't know if it was actually her who survived and was actually riding it, because she was the leader of the Furman. That's actually one of the commanders of the Furman at the time. So she might have actually been able to command those motherfucking worms. That's why it didn't.
She'd also been impaled. So I don't know.
Well, maybe that's why it didn't eat him as well. When it caught him when he got to the rocks, and it just stood there and could have ate him still, but it just stood there and looked at him. And then just backed off.
Maybe.
And he was able to.
He also has the force.
Right. He was able to sense that he knew that there was a thumper going off. So maybe the worm told him and he was able to understand. But all in all, if you haven't seen it, go check that motherfucker out, because it was a good one. HBO Max continues to drop movies in studio on app. What is it called? On streaming. At the same day as they put in theaters. So that's going to run out really soon, as a bunch of good movies are coming in theaters and they're trying to get people back into the theaters. But
go watch Young Justice.
Young Justice. Yeah, I'm on episode 3.
What?
Of 4.
Season?
Oh, 4. Season 4.
I'm still on season 3. But,
yeah, I'm watching the newest season right now. Check it out, baby. You gotta watch Young Justice as well.
Okay.
But yeah, this is the time of the show where I like to let the people know where they can find you at. I don't know who wants to start here. V-Ronz, do you want to let them know where they can find you at?
Sure. You can find me on Instagram, Veronica Keller, Veronica with a K.
Veronica with a K. Go ahead, AKA, let them know.
Is it Akil Young? Something like that.
Akil Young on the Instagram.
Yeah, and fuck SoundCloud, because apparently that's not working out good. So I'll listen to my music.
We'll get it up on the YouTube so we can promote some more. You just got to do a bunch of the graphic video so we can get that shit on there. People like that. We got a bunch of views on that too. But you know where you can find your boy at. It's SAC_Lydell on the Instagram, Patrick_Lydell on the Snappy Chappy. Or Snapchat, how I like to say it. You can find the podcast on Instagram under Best of Bias, and you can find it on YouTube under the same name. Just go ahead and check for the bear, and you'll know you're there. Also, you can find the podcast on thebestofbias.com, where we post all of the episodes. So if you don't have your favorite streaming services where you find your favorite podcast, whether it be Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Play, you can watch it on YouTube or on the website. So there's plenty of ways to find the bias and get the bias to your ears. But for now, it's the end of the episode. I'm sorry we have to go, but there's plenty of bias coming soon. Like I said, we're dropping every Friday from now on, so you can expect different topics, movie reviews, same shit. More shit though on the Best of Bias though. From yours truly, AKA and V-Ronz. I don't know if V-Ronz is going to be in as many episodes as AKA is, but we'll try to drag her in on some episodes, because we need her bias and her pop culture knowledge as these episodes continue. But as of now, Best of Bias listeners, thank you for coming by. We love you. We want you to come back And where is my theme song? It's right here. We out of here.
It's the best of bias. You need the earful, you should try us. From pop culture to the movies to Unitas. It's the best of bias. The best of bias. It's the best of bias.
You are now listening to the Best of Bias Podcast with Lydell